Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We all need a social media detox now and again, and after the Thanksgiving holiday, I took one. There's just so much shit going on out there right now that sometimes it's best just to disconnect. Plus, Black Friday has been crazy at the Supplement HQ. That was fun. So, anyway, streams are back. Good to see you guys. We will be talking about some of that drama tonight. I've been staying up to a little bit of speed on what's happening with Tim Pool and Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and a bunch of those, podcaster people, influencer folks. Gosh. It makes me just not want to be on the internet seeing some of the retardation out there. Don't associate me with them. I speak into a microphone, but just don't associate me with them. They're all stupid. All of them. All of them. I'm not taking sides. My side is against all of them. What else shall we discuss? Looks like some of the Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell files are going to be unsealed. I'm not exactly sure which ones or when, but we'll take a look at that. Judges today opening up some of those documents for public release. Some things happening with Venezuela. We shall talk about the establishment doing their best to try to impeach RFK and Pete Hegseth. So we'll look at that and other drama too. Whatever else I have loaded up here in the browser. I've got some catching up to do myself. Kind of been, disconnected from the interwebs for a minute. So there's a few stories that I need to dig into over the next couple of days. Like that Patrick Byrne thing, right? That's another one where I don't know. Something doesn't resonate well with that whole Emerald Robinson breaking the Patrick Byrne story of they've got Venezuelan whistleblowers and exposing the election fraud or something. I don't know how to frame what they're claiming, but it doesn't pass my intuitive sniff test, I'll be honest. Patrick Byrne, Emerald Robinson, they just don't feel right. They don't, but what do you guys think about that, though? The whole Patrick Byrne thing, if you're familiar with it. I think the best route to go, something we can learn from, whether it is Candace Owens or Emerald Robinson or Patrick Byrne or Nick Fuentes or Tim Pool, is don't believe shit they say. I mean, when people put their name and face out there and speak into a microphone, they have a vested interest in making themselves appear virtuous and righteous and smart and great to you, right? They have a vested interest in doing that so they can sell themselves to their audience and get new audience. They want to be liked. So claims, when these influencers claim things, it's usually to make themselves look better than they really are. Not all influencers suck. There's some legit ones out there, but due to the nature of podcasting, it is an industry that narcissists will gravitate towards because they can sell themselves as better than they really are to an audience. They can get attention that they're looking for. They can twist up a damn good story, sell it to the world. They can get the validation they're desperate for. Right? So, influencing, posting on the internet, whether it's on X, whether it's YouTube, Rumble, podcasts, whatever it may be, again, not all influencers are narcissistic shitbags, but a lot of them are, just because of what podcasting can bring them. So, I try not to be a shitbag. I try not to. Ash put out a great thread about Patrick Byrne. I'll go check that one out. In fact, I think I saw it. I just have not read it. But Ash would be one of the folks to talk to about election fraud and trying to sift through BS regarding that. Yeah, something just doesn't pass the whole sniff test with Patrick Byrne. Like, what about when it comes to the 2020 election fraud, in my eyes, the mail-in ballots were a far bigger problem than Dominion Smartmatic machines. Now, don't get me wrong. I think machines are absolutely an issue. But in terms of the 2020 election, I think the far bigger issue with that election was mail-in ballots, mail-in votes, mass mail-in voting. And then we have, Tulsi Gabbard probably going to drop some 2020 election fraud information coming soon in the near future. So it would make sense to me that controlled opposition assets would try to front run that by putting out some red herring stories. I'm not saying that is what Patrick Byrne and Emerald Robinson and them are doing, but it is an option I am pondering. We'll just say that. Good evening, fellow retards. Yes. Good evening.
Why are you gay?
Cool. All right. Glad to see you all here. I'll try not to get distracted with the comments because I've got to move quick with today's show because I will be filling in for Brad on Altered State with Zach Payne, Red Pill 78 on Badlands Media here in 1 hour. So I got to move quick. All right. Real quick. Sponsor of today's show. With the way inflation and currency devaluation is going, smart investors are turning to Bitcoin, not as a gamble, but as a global hedge backed by major funds, banks, and even governments quietly stacking digital assets. After reaching an all-time high of 124,000 there in October, Bitcoin has pulled back. Not that much. It might pull back more, but many see this as the perfect opportunity to invest before the next uptrend. When you invest with My Digital Money, you'll get US-based support and secure offline storage so your crypto stays protected. You can even open a crypto IRA or roll over your existing 401k to enjoy valuable tax benefits. Don't let inflation steal your future. Protect and grow your digital assets today with My Digital Money, mydigitalmoney.com, or you can go to jordansathercrypto.com. They have free crypto investment guides. This will be linked in the description or the pinned comment down below. jordansathercrypto.com. That is with My Digital Money. It's important to know when the best time to buy is. I've gotten some questions from people seeing their crypto account go down lately. And I'm like, yeah. Buy when it's low, not buy when it's high. Or you can short the market and, make money when the price is dropping, but it gets a little risky. That's why you want people to help you out with that. All right. What's up with Candace? What's the latest? What's the latest gossip? What do they call it? What do them kids call it? Tea? Is that the new word for gossip? I don't know. If you want to just get your ear to the rumor mill, go listen to Candace Owens. Because tell you what, she is making a shitload of money on her podcast by just letting rumors and letting gossip fly. So what's the latest one? Candace Owens starts mocking Erica Kirk on her show, suggests that she suggests she should be on the TPUSA payroll because she can make a psychological operation look organic. I don't know if that's something good to brag about.
To like almost like, I want to be clear that Turning Point USA is my family. The Charlie Kirk show is my family. You know, like she's just expanding the wings of people that we're not allowed to critique because they're in the family. If you call them fam, you can't critique them, right? Oh, I'm sorry. We actually are showing a clip of Rob McCoy defending a pedophile or trying to like launder the reputation of that's fam. That's the CK show fam. Oh, I'm sorry. We are actually pointing to the fact that we know for certain that this person or organization is sexual deviant. That's fam. That is my, don't you get me upset.
She rambles a lot. It's never been more obvious of a psychological operation. I actually wish they would put me on payroll so I could help make these things look more organic. Bragging about making psychological operations look organic. That's not something to brag about. Erica Kirk finally speaks about this. Did Candace ever have that conversation or that podcast with the Charlie Kirk show squad or TPUSA people? They were wanting to schedule that a couple weeks ago. I was following that, and then there was just, I don't know. No, you schedule it. No, you schedule it. No, you schedule it. I can't do that time. No, you can't do that time. It's just, dude, everybody sucks. Anyway, Erica Kirk, she's pissed, which I could understand. I don't know why it took them so long to speak out about Candace. I think Erica probably should have done that sooner. But,
come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
You know, I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do.
yeah, she's mad. If you start stumbling over words like that, you is mad. What are you saying, chat? Candace can do it live electronically. Yeah, Zoom call. But they want it in person. Yeah, I'd want to do it in person too. Because then you can see facial expressions and tone, and you can't let them just end the call and walk away. But then, of course, Candace would say, oh, they want to murder me. They want to assassinate me. I can't do it in person. Yeah, I was checking out. I had a question posed to me a week or two back by somebody wondering how much money Candace was making. And I kind of broke it down, just estimating based off how many live videos she does, her viewership, and then her sponsorship. So she does a live stream. Well, shit, now she's doing like one a day over the past week. Before that, it was about 2 a week, 3 a week. But every single podcast she does gets about 2 million views. From my understanding, she is demonetized on YouTube, but she is not demonetized on Rumble. So she's getting a little bit of social media advertisements from Rumble, at least.
Okay, you guys. Now,
but the thing is, she has sponsorships. This is where she's making the bulk of her money. She's really not making anything. Well, she is on Rumble, at least, from the advertisements played by the platforms. But this is where she's making her money, from having 4 different sponsors per podcast. And anyway, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but usually they'll pay per per 10,000 views or per 20,000 views, sponsors will pay an amount. So if Candace is getting 2 million views on average per show, oh, dude, she's probably making $100,000 per podcast. Yeah. Just from sponsorships. And then she has her private, what does she call it? Book club membership on our website. But the thing that I was thinking about today is that with Candace Owens' content, she's trying to make it seem like she's doing this investigative research. When I question Candace online, I will get comments from people who really like her that say, well, she's doing investigative research that we need to be doing. Who else is doing this? Yada, yada. I don't see Candace doing much investigation. She just does podcasts and rants. Like, I would want to see articles with screenshots and sourced material. And then these articles stay up with like actual investigative stuff on it. These podcasts don't show really much. I mean, she had her whole Egyptian plane thing where she showed that Excel spreadsheet, I guess you could call it, but that wasn't necessarily evidence. That was, well, bad evidence. There's a such thing as very bad evidence and good evidence. Not all evidence is equal. Just saying something is evidence doesn't exactly make it support your case. It's just wild, man. It's like every day it's something else. First it was Israel killed Charlie, and then it turned into, well, at one point Candace Owens was basically insinuating or effectively blaming Trump and the FBI and the Trump admin. Then it was TP USA execs. Then it was the Egyptian planes. Then you had the French Legionnaires. And now we're back on to... No, and here's a new one. Now it's possible weapons trafficking. Candace is claiming that Charlie messaged his security detail the night before he died, telling him that they were going to kill him tomorrow.
This is bigger than we could have ever imagined. And it is very clear to me that our satellite of nations involved in this is not so implausible. In fact, maybe it's very plausible that all of these states are somehow involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination.
All of them.
So here's what happened after he went off air. I received a tip, actually from overseas, which has positively blown my mind. And it's blown my mind in a lot of ways, particularly because I had this intuition in terms of the things that I was researching and that were coming up, and we're looking into Utah and all of these things, that there was this chance that trafficking, like global trafficking.
All right. I don't know, man. Again, she just doesn't show direct evidence. She strings suppositions together. And now Candace Owens. Then you got, you have a lot of these accounts online as well that just repeat. They repeat whatever Candace claims as if it's true. Breaking! Candace Owens just went live, visibly shaken. Well, this is from the woman that says she is very great at making psyops pure organic, right? Candace Owens just went live, visibly shaken. The French president's alleged hitman has moved to her town in Tennessee. His real name is Arkady Gaydamak. Gaydamak.
Why are you gay?
A Russian-Israeli billionaire, French intelligence asset, convicted arms trafficker. Oh no, man.
Obviously, yesterday we spoke about this Pierre in Scottsdale, and I had mentioned that he had a partner. Pierre Falcone had a partner named Arkady Gaydamak. Didn't expect that to be relevant to anything, but they were both involved in Angola Gate, which was global trafficking at the highest levels of government. But
Thought it was the Legionnaires. The French president's hitman is such a good hitman that apparently he like has jobs and house hunts and everybody knows his name. Oh no, man. If they were to actually hire a hitman, this guy's name probably wouldn't be online. Just doesn't make sense. Here's the thing about Candace Owens I've noticed is that she will flip-flop a lot and tell little white lies that her adherents don't pick up on. The people who I found that drink the Candace Owens Kool-Aid, they have a very difficult time. It's like they like Candace Owens emotionally, and their emotional attachment to Candace can't let them logically look at her claims. And I mean, I'll hand it to Candace. She's very good at roping people in and talking herself up and getting people to believe it. But Candace Owens will flip-flop a lot. She'll tell like little white lies and backtrack on previous statements.
I certainly didn't suspect Turning Point.
Like this one here.
I certainly didn't suspect Turning Point USA would be, as I believe, involved in a cover-up. And we can talk about what the motives are of that. They could be financial motives. It doesn't necessarily mean they were involved in plotting to kill him. And I've never said that. So in theory, Cam Higbee, who was laughing off the idea of an assassination attempt, is being paid by the very organization that just had its leader assassinated in broad daylight in front of the entire world.
See? Candace tells Russell Brand, I never said TPUSA assassinated Charlie. Yet, the internet is forever. You can dig up clips with Candace Owens saying that TPUSA, the organization that just had their leader killed. Yeah, people that drink the Candace Kool-Aid, they just can't see these things, or in denial about them, or won't accept that. Candace is kind of full of a lot of it. Then you got Tim Pool out here. Tim Pool beefing with Candace. Let's see, I guess Tim Pool claimed that a vehicle approached his property and opened fire. Our security team is reviewing the incident and will be relaying the report to appropriate law enforcement. This is the price we pay for speaking out against evil, Tim Pool says. Candace gives him shit. The shooting Tim Pool survived in December of 2022 is committed by his brother, by the way, as Candace claims. Candace claims his brother was the one who fired the weapon on his property. Yeah, I am getting a little bit of Jussie Smollett vibes from this Tim Pool dealio. Because if you have enough money for a security gate and security guards and a security team at your compound, you should have cameras. And I don't know why we don't have a 5-second video clip of this incident, or at least a photo with a shell casing on the ground or something. I don't know. When I read this, I'm like, man, because from what I understand, Tim Pool's compound is out in West Virginia, and it is hunting season for a variety of game species out in West Virginia. I was thinking, man, it's probably just like a hunter down the road that fired a couple shots that Tim Pool or his team heard, and they went into full paranoia mode and just assumed that those shots were coming for him. And then, oh, perfect story to put out to the public that I'm being hunted. What a way to give yourself some street cred, right? Oh my God, shots fired. They're coming after me. This is the price I pay for speaking out against evil. I mean, it's the same shit that Candace Owens did. The French Legionnaires are coming after me. I have to skip my podcast this weekend. And then Candace Owens proceeds to go hang out at Dollywood and go to some parties. Candace Owens is so scared for her life from the French assassins that she goes to a theme park. Tim Pool claims they're coming after him and taking shots at his property, but I guess there's no video footage of it or anything of it. And I mean, dude, I used to live in the sticks of Idaho, and I would hear shots now and again echo throughout the valley. And when I would hear a gunshot, I'm probably just thinking to myself, oh, some dude protecting his chickens from a coyote. Or maybe some guy saw a turkey on his property and was hunting it or something. I didn't assume that the liberal French Israeli assassins were coming for me. I don't get it though, man. And then I guess you had this creator contact a sheriff department about the Tim Pool shooting allegations on his property, and the sheriff stated there was no record about the alleged shooting on the property. Issue is this guy, Adam the Great TV, he called the wrong sheriff's department. Like, this guy's call went viral, as you can see there, and everybody thought it was real. Oh, the sheriff didn't have any record of the shooting. Problem is, this guy called the wrong sheriff's department. This is why you can't just outright jump to conclusions and trust the headline or trust the social media post, because you could have guys calling the wrong sheriff's department. Cam Higbee came out and called the correct sheriff's department that serves Tim Pool's compound, and they verified report of the shooting.
Sheriff's office. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. Sheriff's office.
No worries. Hi, this is Cameron Higbee. I just wanted to call and verify receipt of a report that should have been filed with you guys, or an incident.
Okay. Do you have...
Aware of that. It would have been last.
So he verifies that sheriff's department verifies the report. Now, mind you, this is just a report, right? This isn't confirming that Tim Pool was hunted by liberals. This is just a report. Again, a report. Could have been completely misconstrued or misunderstood by Tim Pool, or it's just Tim Pool or his security team made a report to the sheriff's department, but that doesn't mean the shooting took place or it was some liberal shooting at his compound or something. It's just a report. And then Nick Fuentes out here. They're all turning on each other. It's wild. Nick Fuentes says if Turning Point doesn't do a good job at exposing Candace, then he will. Nick Fuentes says everybody else is afraid of Candace Owens. I'm not afraid of some ignorant black bitch. Rage bait extraordinaire. Nick Fuentes. Again, I can't stand any of these people. I can't stand Candace Owens. I can't stand Tim Pool. I can't stand Nick Fuentes. They want you to take sides. I'm on Team Fuentes. I'm on Team Pool. Team Tim. You don't need to take sides. You can very well logically and reasonably see all of these people as arrogant, low IQ idiots. And that's indeed what Nick Fuentes is. He's just pure rage bait. I mean, very, very similar to Candace. They're good talkers. They're smooth speakers. They know how to rile up their audience and pull on their heartstrings and rope them in. get people to like them. But when it comes to their actual investigative analysis, the conclusions they come to, it's very, and the way they speak, they're very arrogant. Very arrogant. And then I guess there was this investigative analysis done of Nick Fuentes' followers, particularly on X. How abuse of X's platform boosted Nick Fuentes. A few days ago, Elon Musk got, quote, ratioed by Nick Fuentes, but there was nothing organic about the ratio. This morning, Network Contagion Research Institute released a forensic breakdown of how Nick Fuentes' sudden rise over the past few years was driven by synthetic amplification, foreign engagement clusters, and coordinated raid behavior. Basically, a lot of Nick Fuentes' engagement online is fake, as per the allegation, as per the report. Now, this organization is quite left-wing, left-leaning. It does seem to be a propagandist institute, so there could be some there's definitely an agenda. There's a bias to their analysis here. But does that mean it's completely fake? No, I would, even though this research institute doesn't seem like they're all that honest, I've definitely noticed synthetic amplification of Nick Fuentes' accounts, especially on Instagram. Because this year, Instagram stopped censoring content, and now there are a ton of sock puppet pages popping up that just post Nick Fuentes clips, and they go super viral. And when Nick Fuentes tweets, he'll get thousands and thousands of likes in a few minutes. There's something fishy about the Groyper network, the Groyper movement. Does seem artificially boosted. Fuentes equals controlled opposition. I don't think he's controlled opposition. I think he's a very useful idiot for the controlled opposition that manage him. I don't think he's knowingly bullshitting, but I think he's just being used. And you notice that a lot of these very questionable people, whether they are controlled opposition or useful assets for controlled opposition, they all seem to be connected in some way, shape, or form to InfoWars. Like, never fails. They either, once upon a time, were promoted by InfoWars, used to have a show on InfoWars, worked with InfoWars for a couple of years, then they went and did their own thing. It's like there's always some kind of tangential connection with highly questionable influencers. They get very popular. This is your Stu Peters. This is your Nick Fuentes, your Candace, your, right? And it's odd. Shall you nitpick my previous political analysis online? Yeah, go ahead. Fuentes hates everyone. He's like the Eminem of politics. Yeah, I don't know. He's just an engagement farmer. Pure rage bait. No, Candace did not skip out on her podcast over that. She skipped out because of Thanksgiving. Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't there a post of hers that said that she's laying low for the weekend because of the French Legionnaires? Disagree with me about Candace. She said plenty of times that she makes mistakes and that she's not perfect. She's also said plenty of times that she has an amazing intuition and really uptalks herself. So, yeah, no. I think Candace is quite arrogant. The way she speaks highly about herself and sort of grooms her followers on what to think and believe, and how to see the claims and information she's presenting. Fuentes would sell out anyone for a bag of Doritos. Even if Candace went on Thanksgiving break, that was still days after she was working up a storm over being hunted by French assassins. And then she goes to a theme park and goes out to parties. So I have a tough time believing that she was actually afraid for her life for being hunted by alleged French assassins. So it's just another day, another claim with not much solid proof. And man, she's making, I would estimate Candace is making at least $1 million a month off her podcast with the sponsorships and the platform advertisements and the membership section of her website and whatever else she's doing. So wild. Speaking of what I believe to be questionable people associated with Infowars, we got Patrick Byrne now doing his thing. And Patrick Byrne goes on to Alex Jones' show to explain that reports of the French intelligence targeting Candace Owens for assassination are true, claims Patrick Byrne. And your evidence for that is what?
Macron, you know what it's all about, this thing with Macron's wife? Macron has a wife that he met.
Well, they admit when he was 14 and she was the teacher, he dated her.
39.
So it's pedo stuff, bare minimum.
Yeah, bare minimum. Then they got married. But so
all of the Candace Owens claims are true based on what? Here's the thing about Patrick Byrne. Well, for one, he seems to be warmongering quite a bit, claiming that the war against Venezuela is more necessary than World War II. And he was arguing this, being real war hawkish on Infowars, of course. But I guess Patrick Byrne did a podcast with Emerald Robinson, who it looks like Emerald Robinson has been the journalist, quote-unquote journalist, tasked with, I guess, bringing Patrick Byrne's claims to the world about Venezuela and their 2020 election rigging with their machines and all this stuff. Patrick Byrne comes clean live, claims, I was CIA. I was a Tier 1 national intelligence asset. I helped set up the Russian hoax under Brennan. I've stayed silent long enough. This is insurrection. Patrick Byrne says he was Obama's ace in the hole, worked directly under John Brennan, was funneled into the White House by 2011, and watched Smartmatic tech spread across global elections. Patrick Byrne, I regret not saying this during Trump's first term. They're staging a color revolution now. So now we should trust you. You're coming clean. You were super duper tier 1 intelligence asset. Now you're coming clean and we should trust you? Does that mean we should not trust everything else you've said before now? If you said you helped set up the Russia hoax under John Brennan, that means you're fucked, bro. This is like, which I don't think is true. This is like psyops on psyops here.
That's huge. That's 2 huge bombshells right now. But I can't ignore the third. You just told us that you are CIA, sir. So how would you describe your role with the CIA, which you haven't revealed before?
Well, again, I was telling the truth when I said they frequently was reminded that you have a really non-standard relationship. You have that. It became kind of my mother relationship. I had lots of relationships across the government, but eventually I went from there to by 2010, 2011, Obama,
I don't know, dude. Patrick Byrne just seems, to me at least, seems too coked out of his mind to be a tier one intelligence asset. I don't think they would trust him. I don't think they would trust him.
Became something called a tier 1 intelligence asset.
I've also never heard of that term before. Tier 1 intelligence asset. I've heard of Tier 1 special operator, your Delta, SEAL Team 6, ISA, but I've never heard of a Tier 1 intelligence asset. But then again, I am not an intelligence asset, and never have I been to the CIA headquarters, so I don't know if that's super duper tradecraft speak, but...
And then in 2010, 2011, Obama elevated me to national intelligence asset.
What? So you were a tier 1 asset, and then Obama elevated you to a national intelligence asset. I've never heard of these terms before. I've done quite a bit of research into the intelligence world. Of course, there's a lot I don't know still, but I've never heard of those terms.
National intelligence asset. I was told it was going to be the ace in the hole for all kinds of, for the real tough situations from 2010, 20. That was after working for Brennan for 4 or 5 years, and then I continued doing all that stuff.
This is the guy that the deep state wanted as being their ace in the hole. This is the fucking guy. I just feel like he's bullshitting us about being a bullshitter. And Emerald Robinson is just eating his shit up. And the way she dramatizes this as well. I'm looking at her body language, her tone of voice, and her facial expressions. I feel like she's selling us on some bullshit too.
That's huge. That's 2 huge bombshells right now.
It's
But I
huge.
can't ignore the third. You just told us that you are CIA,
She's like yelling at us to believe it.
sir. So
Sir?
how would you describe your role with the CIA, which you haven't revealed before?
Well,
Look at that. Look at that shit-eating grin. Believe me, Lemmings. Believe me.
again,
About your life story, and this will make
She keeps looking to the right, too. Like, follow my talking points over here. God, I'll be honest. I've been offline for a couple of weeks. I got to look more into the latest with Candace and the latest with Patrick Byrne, but watching and listening and absorbing these clips, I'm not getting good vibes. Tier 1. They picked the Overstock guy to be their Tier 1 national intelligence super duper asset. Amazing. And I guess Emerald's out here throwing shit at Rick Grinnell too. Claiming Rick Grinnell was in Venezuela last week. And Rick Grinnell just says you're dumb as shit. Wrong, you made that up. Emerald. You made it up. Mind you, Patrick Byrne and Emerald, speaking of Infowars is doing a lot to platform their whole Venezuela story. So that's another red flag to me, at least, is the Infowars platforming. Man, I've been speaking a lot. I got to jump off in like 15 minutes and go over and help out Zach on Altered States. All right, so we'll dive into Justice Department can unseal Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking case records, judge says. Federal judge on Tuesday granted the DOJ request to publicly release grand jury transcripts from Ghislaine Maxwell's case but the judge cautioned that people shouldn't expect to learn much new information. All right. So that was the judge in Manhattan. And the DOJ has to provide the public with Epstein-related records by December 19th. So we'll get those, I guess, in like a week and a half. And then this is Manhattan Judge Berman. So there were two different judges in Manhattan. One ruled on Ghislaine Maxwell grand jury transcripts. One ruled on Jeffrey Epstein related material. All right. Well, looks like we'll be getting a document dump by December 19th with Maxwell and Epstein. And no matter what is in them, people are going to claim the government's covering it up. Trump's covering it up. You'll get your Democrats out there. You'll get your certain people who claim they're conservative or libertarian or whatever. People on both sides of the aisle will claim, oh, orange man bad. Government's covering up something, blah, blah, blah. I will find it highly interesting if Rachel Chandler's name is going to be mentioned in something. Ray Chandler. I've been waiting for some kind of document or grand jury testimony or something to get released mentioning Rachel Chandler's name. And that would be basically the Q proof of all mega Q proofs. And that'd be a big deal. So we'll see. I'm not expecting it, but. Comment says from Grok. No, Tier 1 intelligence asset is not an established or official term. In declassified intelligence community jargon, government documents are standard espionage literature. Yeah, I've never heard of that term before. Or national intelligence asset either. I've never heard of different categories or tiers. And if bro is tier 1, how does he get elevated to another tier above tier 1? Did I watch the new 50 Cent documentary on Diddy? I've not. I'm not a Netflix frequenter. But is it good? Was it a good one? I do like 50. 50 Cent cracks me up. But why are people so afraid of this rock flying through space? Isn't that old news by now? That 3-Eye Atlas, space rock, comet, UFO, alien mothership, whatever it was. That was October news. And that was Nothing Burger, wasn't it? Whole lot of hype. Whole lot of hype periodically, and then that story fell off the face of the earth. Chat says December 19th is the day Comet, whatever Atlas, is closest to Earth. I thought that was in October, but maybe that was the day it was closest to the sun, and now it's coming around and going to be close to Earth. I don't know, man. The whole 3-Eye Atlas, so much hype on the internet over that, and just all seemed pretty sensationalist to me. All right, guys, got about 10 minutes left. Let's roll through some more stuff. I guess U.S. military caught themselves a Venezuelan oil tanker today. Oil tanker they were using to subvert sanctions was the reason. Pretty dope footage, though. Speaking of Tier 1 intelligence assets, look at him go! That's Patrick Byrne. Fast roping down onto the tanker to collect intel. All right. Just kidding, though. What'd Trump say about it? When asked about the oil tanker, Trump says, yeah, we'll keep it, I guess. I don't know. And says it's actually the largest one ever seized. Other things are happening soon. Other things are happening soon. Yeah, it does seem that way, given that a whole squadron of growlers are now in Puerto Rico. A bunch of Navy EA-18G Growlers electronic attack aircraft. These were flown to Puerto Rico last night from Whidbey Island, Washington State, where they're stationed. And these are basically jamming aircraft. They are used often at the onset of combat operations to jam radar, jam tracking systems, etc. So the fact that these are in Puerto Rico means that something might be happening soon. Something might be happening soon. But mind you, I found this post to be highly poignant, a highly poignant description, because what's happening right now is not technically war. Technically or constitutionally, it is not war. So for all the people going, war is defined legally and constitutionally of a nation state attacking another sovereign nation state. Two nation states attacking each other. That's technically war. Right now, this is not war because narco traffickers and cartels are not sovereign nation states. And also, these boats in the water, because they are not flying any national flag, which international maritime law governs this, any vessels on the water have to fly their nation's flag. Stateless vessels have no sovereign protection. A flagged ship is an extension of its flag state's sovereignty. A stateless vessel is not. Any state may stop, board, search, seize, or disable a stateless vessel. So these fishing boats, high-powered fishing boats out in the Caribbean, these are stateless vessels. It is not war, nor war crimes to blow them to smithereens. And does Maduro seem worried here to you? He's out here playing DJ on Venezuelan TV. I'll be honest, he seems like a fun guy to have a beer with. What the hell? My guess would be that Maduro made a deal with the Trump administration long ago, and all we're seeing play out right now is theater. Maduro probably made a deal and said, okay, I'll let you guys make a show of force. You can fly your jets over and bomb the cartel. And all we're seeing right now on the public sphere between Maduro and Trump, Venezuela and the U.S. is just theater. And yeah, we'll probably get some jets fly over Venezuelan territory, bomb some cartel targets. We'll probably get a few Reaper drones, fly through, launch a few missiles. You'll get the propagandist media cry and say, oh my God, war's breaking out, but nothing will happen. It'll be over as fast as it started. and cartel gets wiped out. Last thing I want to talk about real quick, and then I can take a few comments, and then I got to jump off. Australia's social media banning law. Australia begins enforcing social media law banning children under the age of 16 from major platforms. On one hand, part of me thinks this is a good idea. Kids spend way too much time on their phones or their tablets, but the other part of me thinks this is a very bad idea. It should be the parents enforcing social media bans in the household. It should not be the government enforcing social media bans for kids under 16, because this will just make it a very slippery slope. And then Australia will be able to start banning a bunch of other shit. So it should be parents banning it, not the government. The government will use this as a slippery slope to start banning more things. And also, if you look at the exact platforms that are banned, this is just stupid. Banned: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Exempt. Look at the exempt platforms. Roblox, exempt. Discord, exempt. Roblox and Discord are the worst at radicalizing the youth and for adult age predators to find and groom children on. So, kind of a fail here from the dummies down under. Crikey. Those are some real retards down there in Australia. Australia marked the launch of its under 16 social media ban with a symbolic display in Sydney, lighting the Harbour Bridge in green and gold and projecting the message, "Let them be kids." Yes, Australia. Did you let them be kids back in 2020 when you locked all of them in their frickin' homes all summer? Wild, man. All right, guys. I'll be back on Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday streams are back in effect. And every morning on Pilled. So if you want to come, just hang out, chat, don't have much to do, mid-late morning, I stream on Pilled. 8 a.m. Pacific, let me math, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hold on, I'm bringing the music in. Got to be royalty-free. Am I demonetized on YouTube? Yes. This channel, at least. Roblox just needs to go. We need to bring back video games of the 90s and the early 2000s. I'm not anti-Roblox, but I'm anti how Roblox is used. And the games on there, there's a lot of stupid games. I was looking at a great post today comparing the video games of the early 2000s to the video games now. And the video games 20, 25 years ago, they were much different because they were different in a few ways. Like, number one, the maps. You didn't have any kind of arrow telling you where to go, or voice telling you what to do, or any kind of, like playing Age of Empires, when you walked around, you had to discover the map and then remember where you were, or like playing Pokemon on the Game Boy. you had to recall and remember exactly where you went, and it helped memorize things. These days, the maps on these games, or you have an arrow telling players where to go. So there's less memorization or discovery in the video games. And then another difference is that games back then, they actually had an end point. Like the Pokemon game, or really any video game 20, 25 years ago, there was a final, there was an end. You could finish the game. A lot of video games these days, you can't finish them. It's just like a lot of those games on Roblox. It's constant, a 2 or 3 minute game or level, and then another one and another one. You could just play it forever. There's no actual finish. And yes, those games didn't autosave. That's another great point, Joe. These days, games autosave every few minutes. And if you die, you just go back to the last spawn point. 20, 25 years ago, you had to be, like playing Mario. If you died, you went back to the very beginning of the level, not some autosave spawn point. So it taught kids patience and caution. So, yeah, if video games were made and structured in a certain way, they could actually be fairly beneficial for children. But the way that video games are being made these days is just for pure dopamine, just to get kids addicted to them. And they're not made to develop any kind of critical thinking or beneficial thought pattern. It's just slop. Video game slop. All right, guys, couple more minutes, and I gotta jump off. Maduro might be a tier 1 ass hat, too. Yeah. I don't know. I go back and forth on Maduro. I don't think anybody is outright white hat or black hat. It's just what decisions are they making and what decisions have they made in the past. People can always change for better or worse. What's their agenda now in the moment? Is it for the betterment of everybody or just for the betterment of themselves? Did I make the sound effects for Nick already? That one? I need to update my soundboard here. Parents need to parent. That they do. But parents need to also criticize other parents. Adults need to bully other adults, right? Too many people, too many adults feel bad if they criticize the parenting of another adult. But dude, if they're being a shitty parent, say something to them. I'm not gonna say anything. I'll let them do things their way. Like, too many adults are pussies and don't call out other adults for being dipshits. And that goes for anything, right? That goes for just like variety of different things. Do I occasionally listen to George Webb? No. I've been familiar with George Webb since probably 2018, but his mind just seems too scattered for me. And from all his investigations he's been doing for years, I don't know. A lot just seemed like dead ends to me. And now I think George Webb is hopping on the Candace train. So, I don't know about that. Did I check out Elon's comments on time travel and transporting? I'll go check them out. Yeah, I don't know. Elon takes the normie angle quite a bit. And I don't know if he's like genuinely sold on the NPC angle or if that's just what he's playing for the public. And I mean, for example, Elon's comments on UFOs, and extraterrestrial life, the future, what's possible. Candace is doing a killer job. Nothing wrong with following the truth. Yeah, I don't know if she's following the truth, though. Maybe she thinks she is, but much of what Candace is doing is following dead-end rabbit holes, in my opinion. My wife tries to warn our friend about Roblox. She lets her 8-year-old play nonstop. She won't listen. Just got to put a time limit on it. Put a time limit on the Roblox. That's it. I'm blind, says Dwight. Somehow I read your comment with my eyeballs. Nah, that's okay. How am I blind? What truth is Candace uncovered? Do I buy the official narrative about what? Candace is the EBS you guys used to fantasize about. She was doing the damn thing. What are you talking about? I don't know if you're saying I used to fantasize about the emergency broadcast system. I don't think I ever did. I don't know what Candace is doing other than jumping to conclusions in front of a camera every other day. Candace is asking the questions no one else is asking. I keep seeing that comment. A lot of people are asking those questions, not just Candace. A lot of people are asking those questions. You got the Candace Kool-Aid drinkers that assume Candace is the only one ever all the time that are asking the questions, and she's the only one investigating anything. Dude. Talk about, like, people joining a cult and propping up their cult leader. Like, relax. Candace is not all that in a bag of chips. Do I buy the official narrative on Charlie? These things can coexist. You can believe the official narrative to be full of holes, while also realizing that the Candace Owens narratives, the myriad of narratives she's putting out there, are also full of holes. It is probably a much safer position to think that they're all full of shit. You don't have to take a side. All right, guys, I got a jet. Sorry. Zach's probably waiting for me. See ya. Go follow